For centuries, professional wrestling has had a rich history that spans cultures across the world. This history includes wrestlers that have achieved a level of celebrity that extends beyond their industry to become household names and cultural icons. These names consist of Hulk Hogan, Antonio Inoki, Ric Flair, The Rock, El Santo, and John Cena. However, the world of professional wrestling is actually far larger than those icons and the wrestling companies that provided the platform for that greatness. Professional wrestling exists beyond what you see on TV, broadcasts, or even fan-packed arenas. In every corner of the globe, there are small businesses putting on wrestling shows in American legions, bars, banquet halls, or anywhere else that can fit a ring. These shows are filled with talented individuals from the surrounding area to entertain the local fan. Each one of them has a unique story to tell about their journey to achieve their dreams of becoming the next big star. Our show shares the stories of these wrestlers, referees, managers, and anyone else that makes these grassroots shows possible. We are Across the Ring. Welcome to Across the Ring. My name is William Mayhem Michaels.
And this is the scientist, Carl Schupfer. And today we have with us Ray. How are you today?
I'm feeling great. Feeling good. The Prince of Grit is here. Let's go. Let's
awesome.
do it.
Awesome. That's what we like.
The Prince of Grit is here.
Hell yeah. So tell us, how did you get into wrestling?
I was just born in a good time of wrestling, like during the Attitude Era. So always watch those guys, like those magazines where you see like the Kane looking at the Undertaker, just all that, and you just wrestle with your brothers. I come from a big family, so we always just wrestle, like Royal Rumbles. Like I was just in a good time of wrestling, you know.
Hell yeah.
When it was really good.
That's great. So like, okay, so you know you have a big family. You're wrestling with your brothers. Was this the kind of thing where I know for me wrestling with like my siblings, I got in trouble for it all the time. You know, we accidentally broke a couch. You know, How was that with you guys? Was it pretty crazy?
Dude, we would get like boxes slam each other through. Yeah, I got six brothers and 5 sisters. So I'm just always been the last guy standing. I'm the extreme one. I went the long way. You know, people like left. I'm still there, like, let's go. Who's still ready to go? You know, that's why I knew it from right there. I was like, oh, I love this, you know?
And that's how it was for me and my brothers as well. Growing up, we put holes in the wall. We made our own championship belt, stuff like
that. Put the shirt on your head. I'm Triple H today. You're
yeah. There was even one point we all saved up and got a championship belt. And
oh damn.
It was kind of like, you remember the old school hardcore rules belt, pinfall anywhere? That's how it was. It didn't matter if you were at school, didn't matter if you were at home, if you were in a baseball, it didn't matter, bro. If it was time.
Yeah. So really, so big fan as a kid, Attitude Era guy, you get out of school. What was next for you?
When I get out of school, that's it. It was like, it wasn't nothing really crazy. It was like wrestling, video games, Super Nintendo, stuff like that.
After you got into wrestling, as a fan, what was that transition then going from like, I'm a fan of wrestling to I'm going to go get trained and become a wrestler myself?
It felt like, it just felt meant to be, because before I joined the military, I was going to wrestle. I was 17 years old. I remember knocking, I was like, okay. I went to my first wrestling show I remember going to. It was here in Arizona. And I was like, whoa, it amazed me. It was like, this is actually in front of my face. I don't have to go watch it on TV anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this is legit. They're professionals. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, and I go to the training place where they was going to go train. And I was like, oh, this is weird. It's a house I got to go train at. And I'm like, okay, I'm like a little 17-year-old guy, got the knee pads on. I'm already suited up. And then I see the ring in the backyard. And I knock on the door. The guy comes out. He rubs his eyes. He's like, Trinity's not here today, and I don't think he's gonna be back for a while. And I was like, oh, okay. Join the military. And when I finally get into wrestling, it's when I was in the military. So it was like natural. I can't even really. It was just natural. It was like, oh, it wasn't meant to be. I was like, I'll do this, but I knew it was gonna come back.
You trained to become a wrestler while you're in the military?
Yes.
How did that happen? What was that training like?
I'm always been like alone, like wrestling's like a lone thing. So it's like looked it up on Google one day and I was like training areas and I had time to do it. And I was like, I need to do something else while I'm in the military too. So I said, this is the time to go for wrestling. Did it there and I liked it. And I actually felt all the bumps. So I was like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah. So I know you joined the military in 2014. So you started around what, 2016 is when you started getting into wrestling?
Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
So when you first started, was it here in Arizona or was it outside of Arizona?
When I first started, it was in Alaska.
Alaska.
Okay.
What was the school out there?
It was the school I went to out there is NSA Wrestling. It was trained by JT West.
Do you ever make it back out there, or is that kind of something like that's where you got you start, and like now you're kind of down here?
Yeah, whenever they want me to come down, like if we could come up with something, and I have been down there before after I came back here, so we're in a good relationship. I'll go there whenever the vibe is right, and let's do it. Because all those guys, Sean and Brody and Jack, those guys are definitely my foundation. And JT West, definitely the foundation of like my wrestling.
Pretty unique. A lot of times people that are getting into wrestling and they're getting trained, they get trained in their hometown essentially, right? They look up and they find what schools are around me, they throw down whatever it costs and they, start taking their licks to learn this. It's pretty unique that, you were somewhere completely different, doing this training and then going from Alaska to Arizona, I don't think you could get too much further apart in terms of, distance there. So that's pretty crazy.
Exactly. From the heat to the cold, like the coldest part. But and it was so perfect because I got all like the raw natural materials in wrestling. So I didn't know like what I was bumping on. I didn't know like they said it's just cardboard. It was no pads on there. I didn't even know. I didn't think. I always thought it was board under there. So I was just bumping with aggression and everything. I'm like, oh, this is tough. Wrestling is tough. You know what I mean? So everything was like raw materials. I was bumping on and hitting the ropes, small, skinny, thin ropes. I'm like, oh, this feels good to me. You know what I mean? I like this.
Okay. So you're someone that's driven by pain, right? So you're someone that you kind of are like a tough guy.
Grit and grace, baby.
You must then bring that to you in the ring then. Like that, you're the kind of the hard-nosed wrestler. And
yeah, I'm just like, and when it turns on, Christ turns me on like that, and I'm good to go, man. I don't know. I know it's a feeling from above. It's not me. It's definitely not me.
So what brought you down to Arizona from Alaska?
So originally I am from here. I was raised in Arkansas, so I just came back here because I was tired of the cold. I said, let me defrost. I said, let me get back to Arizona, get my skin color back, I started like a white man after a while when I was up there. I was like, oh.
I saw you and Cole wrestling together.
That's my guy.
Yeah, you guys are hard knock fighters, man, in the ring. That was my first time seeing you guys. It was in that cage match against Emo and Cosmo. And yeah, you guys were like some hard knocking rednecks in there.
See, I'm a redneck now. But yeah, man, it was like with grit style wrestling. I love his intensity. That's my guy. I just love his passion. I just like don't do anything. Just go with the flow.
Do you prefer wrestling as a tag over wrestling singles, or what's kind of your thoughts between the two?
Wrestling single, I know that more than the tag division, but I'm like a baby that's taking it all the tag thing in, and I'm new to it. So it's like bumping on the mat again. It's like, okay, I like this. Let's go. Let's see what's going on. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So how long have you guys held the titles for AWF, the tag team titles?
How long have you? At least I know for 2 months. Defeated Lights Camera Faction. Yeah.
Was this was your first?
Those
year?
are good guys.
Was that your first taste of gold, or?
Oh no, first taste of gold. That was in Alaska actually. I became the youngest NSA wrestling title championship. That was the first place I tasted gold, and AWF state champion here at AWF, and now the tag champ.
Yeah, okay. How was the title run for you for the NSA? It being your first title to win.
Yeah, and being so young.
Dude, if you see the picture, like you see, I got the biggest, cheesiest smile on my face, and I was like, wow. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this is the moment. I thought that was it. I was like, I'm done. What else? I just want to entertain people now. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have to do anything else. Like, I just wanted people to respect me, and okay. For them to do that, it showed that they respected me, you know. So it was
Absolutely.
more of a respect thing, a mutual respect.
You talked about having a big family, and you're from, this area. Have you, as you got into wrestling and stuff like that, has your family been able to kind of catch you wrestling now, or being able to catch you, when you were in Arizona wrestling and stuff like that?
None of my family, so half of my family lives in Arkansas, and the other half is here. So they really can't really see it, but they are definitely like, "Oh yeah, proud of you. Like, do your thing." You know what I mean? We always been like all like our own little islands, but we all
Okay.
support each other from our islands. So it's
Yeah.
always been that way. But they definitely support me. Yeah, and I love them all.
Who would you say is your biggest supporter?
I think that's me. I think I'm my biggest supporter. I don't like. I
Okay.
don't really trust. I really don't trust nobody to support me. You know, I'm the lone wolf. But my biggest supporter is Christ, man. To be honest, that's it. That's all my energy derives from. So
Absolutely.
I wing it with Christ, man. That's it.
It's great to have, something that really drives you and inspires you to,
Yeah.
chase what you're chasing and, really develop yourself. When you're not wrestling, what are the things that you're doing, with your time? It sounds like, religion is a big thing for you. What do you like to do with your time?
Well, I like to spend time playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. That's my hobby. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Come and play me in that tournaments and that stuff. I'll play you. Other than that, I'm just chilling, trying to see how can I be a better person. You know what I mean? I'm already aggressive enough. I'm like, I'm just trying to weasel in between my own cracks and like, oh, be this higher person of yourself. That's it. Always trying to improve.
It's cool that you have such a focus on, building yourself and building your own character. A lot of people, they're so tied up in their hobbies, this or that. And like, you have your hobbies, but it sounds like your focus is really more about, your mind and your spirit more than anything else. And it seems like you have a really focus, around.
I love that. I love you said that. That hurt me. You hit me right here.
It sounds then that like you, with that spirit and with that heart, is that something that really, you bring that into the ring and that's what drives you, between the rope?
Yes, that's not like I feel like that's all I have to offer. I'm like, I'm gonna put on a show for you guys that you never ever seen before. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen tonight, but I know the vibe is there, the energy's there, regardless of how I feel. So I'm like, I definitely that's that's the only factor I think.
I love that. With that drive and, with that passion, you seem like a very passionate wrestling guy. What are some of those moments for you, in your career so far that you see as like, these were times where I really got to let that passion shine?
My guy, what's his name? Chubby Deck, the Chubby Chip Challenge match. Oh, that was the time. Like we were just playing. Like that's when I was like, oh yeah, I could feel the crowd and everything. That was like that Chubby Chip Challenge match. It was weird because it was a weird like, oh, Chubby Chip Challenge match. I'm like, what the heck? I said, sure, I guess, But we made something that was kind of quirky, I think, and made it like something great. It was like, oh, like natural things were happening, like just natural. I was like, oh, this is nice.
For listeners that, may not have been able to catch that show, now can you take us through that experience?
Well, so we got the pool of chips. They had like a kiddie pool of chips in the ring, and whoever would throw their opponent in the chips before they'll win the match or whatever. I was like, okay, and it was just like good experience. Like we just like the build up to it. Like, and he was in like a jacuzzi cutting his promos, like in a little small chubby chip pool. It was like his match, you know what I mean? It was like his hell in himself. If he was the Undertaker, it was like his thing.
It
So
sounds very
like,
similar to back in before the Attitude Era. There was a hog pen match between Triple H and one of the Godwins. Sounds like it's a cleaner spin on that, where instead of falling in pig shit, you're in
you're
some chips in a pool.
Some chips and dip. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a good vibe, man. It was just like at first I was like weird about it. I was like, they think I'm a joke. I was like, what? I was like, what is this? And now I'm like, oh, I can see. Like, let me let it play out. I'm just like, I just learned to let things play out.
We had someone talk to us earlier, and they said that oftentimes the weirdest ideas end up being the ones that hit the most. And it sounds like that was an opportunity for you, where at first you're like, this is nuts. Why would we do this? And then you got in it, and now it's one of your best memories.
Yes, that's one of my favorite moments.
That's pretty awesome that you got to do such a unique match, and it was such a great memory for you. You got to really play with the crowd. Do you enjoy more being the bad guy, or do you prefer being the good guy?
So it's crazy? When I was in Alaska, I was a good guy. I was the face. And here, I just can't get out of this bad. I can't get out of it. But I like them both. They both are the same guy. It's just like this guy's on his own journey right now. So I'm like feeling more of the bad guy, you know. I'm on my Scott Hall-ish. Right now I'm feeling the vibe of the bad guy, but I can still be a good guy. I'm not like a bad guy that's learning, the cool one, you know?
Yeah,
cool
you know,
guy.
yeah, that's the story, right? You know, you're the good guy, things happen and you have a mean streak, and then someday you learn some sort of lesson and all of a sudden you're a good guy again. You know, that's the story that's always told.
Yeah. I want to be the good guy people likes in the movie. Like, I mean, the bad guy people likes in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I like him regardless. I don't give a damn what he does. Like, you know, I want to be that guy. Like, he's the shit, and I die at the end. Or then that's how I gotta go out. I die at the end. That's how it goes. Like, oh, that was a good bad guy. You know, we lost another bad one. Like, what the heck?
Talk about, you know, training in a very intense school, right? Like, wasn't really any
Oh, yeah.
padding. Like, you know, took a lot of grit, a lot of toughness. How violent do you find, you know, see yourself going in terms of taking that grit and doing what it takes to win a match?
If somebody comes up to me and tell me like, I won't back down from a challenge. I know that. So you're gonna find it out. So I can't even explain. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm not like interested in anything, but I'm not like against anything as well. Maybe a ladder match. I ain't talking about maybe a ladder match. I'll do that right now. Yeah, that's something I'm ready for right now. I'm ready for anything, but I'm like, that's definitely one I'll be interested in, a ladder match.
That's on your short list of
oh yeah
of stipulations you'd like to try out.
Mm-hmm. That's all. Yeah, that's one I haven't done yet. A ladder match. I've not done a ladder match.
So outside of a ladder match, what do you have planned next for yourself as a goal?
Well, just to be nice to people. I don't have no. that's my only purpose in life is to be nice to people. It really is nothing. You only buy more homes and cars, and after that, you got to be nice to people. So that's it. My goal is to be nice to people and keep on entertaining them through wrestling, give them that energy, that vibe, that grit, and show that they got the same thing. You know what I mean? That's it. And improve on that.
Sounds like you have a very focused mindset around your character and like, you know, really like, you know, the way that you affect the people around you, you know, whether it's, you know, being kind to people and, you know, being the best person that you can be, the best version of yourself outside the ring. Or it sounds like as well, while you're in the ropes, you are very focused about how can I give people the best experience possible for the price they paid for a ticket. So it sounds like that's what really drives you.
Exactly. You hit it right on the spot. That was perfect.
We've talked kind of, you know, a lot about, you know, your career so far. You know, we've talked about some of your goals around stipulations. We've talked about personal goals for yourself around growth, things like that. We've talked about your time wrestling in Arizona and your time wrestling in Alaska. Are there other places that are on your mind of like, man, I would really like to go there and wrestle?
Japan.
Do you follow Japanese wrestling right now? Is that something that's like that you're studying, or?
I'm not like I watch it, but I can't tell you none of the like crazy like guys on there, but I do watch it. But I'm not like I'm not subscribed to it on YouTube, you know.
Right.
I'm just here for the vibe, you know. I'm like I'm telling you, Attitude Era. That's where it's at to me. I was like, oh, this is Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression time. That's it. Yeah. I'm like, there's nothing else. I'm like, that's where everybody got their ingredients from, and they took it. Like, that's it.
Who are the guys from that era that, you know, you pull from? Like, they're your inspiration for who you are now as a wrestler.
Yeah, this will be a crazy. Like, I think God used them. Goldberg, man. Goldberg was a big show. I got some weird guys like Road Dogg. Like, these guys are like just the way they carry themselves, you know. Like, all these wrestlers are like kind of in one person. Like, I just took up from Hulk Hogan, all of these guys. I took it from Michaels, you know, Billy Gunn, X-Pac. Dude, it's so many great guys that left away from me.
So like about the Attitude Era, who did you side with more, WWF or WCW?
Whew. That's a hard one because I watched both. I just like, because they had some of the guys that used to be on WWF on WCW, so I was like, oh, they're friends, you know what I mean? I was a kid, so I was like, oh, they're cool. I just saw that as one big thing. But if I can choose, WWF.
There we go.
Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like then your favorite guys were either the big talkers or the powerhouse guys. Like it
Yes,
sounds like you like the guys that either kick ass or they talk a lot of shit.
yes, get him out of there. Let's get this going. Like, let's go. Yep, I like those.
That's
You gotta have
awesome.
that energy. You gotta have that energy. Like Goldberg, I'm telling you, that guy. If any, my intensity comes from that guy. That's my intensity, daddy. It's Goldberg. Okay, that guy is intense. I never seen like he's intense. Still
Yeah, I don't
today,
think
I'm like,
there's anyone really matches his intensity except for maybe Brock sometimes, because Goldberg didn't say a whole lot, but you knew how he felt all the time. You know what I
you
mean?
could picture his face right now, just the one eye open, the other eye squinted. You could just picture Goldberg. You could just see it right there. He's the man, man. He left a mark. I'm telling you, just instantly Goldberg has that. He has it. That guy has it.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason we're still talking about him now, 25 years
Yep.
later, right? Yeah.
Nobody's matched the guy yet.
Hey, everybody's trying, but there's you can't beat the original, right?
Yeah, he's probably not that great of a wrestler, but you can't match that intensity. He makes you intrigued,
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff today. We've covered you front to back. I feel like we're really learning quite a bit about you. But
yes,
there's always, a fan or two who's they really hold out and they want to, really be impressed or whatever. So for any holdout fans that are still on the fence about coming to a match to see you wrestle, what's your pitch to say, this is why you should come out and see me?
the reason why you should come out and see me, because you're going to see the greatest times of your wrestling childhood all in one person. That's why you should come out and see me. You're going to see the culmination of one wrestler honing all these skills from your greatest times of watching wrestling, whenever you felt that vibe in wrestling. Whenever time that was for you, you're going to see it in me. And that's all you need. You can leave the show after that. You don't need nothing else. You don't have to watch any other matches. I could be the first match. That's all you need to come for. Just a one match. Just to come see me. That's it.
I love that. You're Ray, the one man show. That's what it sounds like.
Oh,
there we
go. You just like give me a name.
There we go.
There you go.
Ray, the one man show. Look at that.
Well, everyone, I'd like to thank the Prince, Ray Black.
The Prince of Grit, Ray Black, baby.
Yeah, for taking the time to talk to us today. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Across the Ring, as well as follow Ray on Instagram as well. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. Most importantly, remember that you never know who will be right across the ring.